Friends, I'm getting on an airplane. I haven't been on an airplane in like 2 years, pretty much to the week. And my wife and I are going on a vacation. We're getting on a plane and going to Hawaii. So I'm gonna be packing my bag. Figured I would share with you all what gear I'm bringing, why I'm bringing it, and get excited for this trip. So there's gonna be 3 sections to this. Gonna be the main photography camera gear. Then there's going to be the action camera gear. And then we'll have kind of a fun miscellaneous kind of tech space, and that'll be it. So I am going to have a backpack and then a carry-on suitcase. The carry-on suitcase is just gonna be like all clothes and stuff, so that's not what we're doing today. We're going to be doing the backpack and everything that goes in there. So we're gonna start with the backpack. This is the same backpack I've been using for years. It's from Brevity. They don't make this version anymore, but I love it. Now, we do have to say, there's a couple things you're not gonna see in this video, because you are these things. Let's see, why don't I do this? I'll show you, all right. So you are the Fuji X-T3, the Deity microphone up top, the 16 2.8, and also the MiPhoto Travel Tripod Road Tripper. That is an old school tripod that I've had for many years, and I still love it. It's still light, it still works, it does the job. So all of that will be a part of this, but you're gonna be there and not actually part of going in the bag today. So that is the main camera that I'm going to be having and doing all of my photography with is the Fuji X-T3. I love it, it's the camera of choice for me. And then I take 4 lenses. So the first being the 16 2.8 and then 2 other primes. Next up is going to be the 23 f2. So we're going to unzip. So this is pretty much my go-to lens these days. I pretty much will have this one on the camera as my go-to primary walk-around travel lens. I just kind of love the 35mm equivalent focal length. So that will go right there. And the other one is the 35mm f2. So this one, obviously a little bit more punched in, and also a super sharp lens that I love to carry with me. Now the big lens, and I debated bringing this, but not really, because there's one specific thing that I'm bringing this lens for. I'm not gonna be carrying it around every day, all day, but I am bringing the 50 to 140. Now this lens is amazing, it's just very heavy, and so it's not something I wanna necessarily be carrying with me all of the time, but we are going whale watching. And I want to be able to get some really great photos of the whales, whatever whales we might see, and having a long telephoto lens is going to be key for that experience, which is also why I rented something that I've never used before, a teleconverter. So Fuji makes a teleconverter that's 1.4 times crop. It's also weather resistant, which is great because I am going to be on a boat and there's probably going to be a little bit of water splash, but this is going to allow the 50 to 140 to extend out a little bit and get me pretty much close to about a 300mm equivalent on full frame. You know, it's Hawaii, it's gonna be sunny, we're gonna be outside, so I'm not too concerned about the loss of light here, and I'm gonna be at such a long focal length that compression on these photos is already gonna be good enough, so I'm not too worried about the loss of depth of field. But that will be a whole video probably, and I'll show you some behind the scenes on that, but I'm bringing this, which is something, again, I've never used before. Now obviously, I'm gonna be bringing batteries and chargers and cables for all of this, but you know that's not very exciting. I guess the only thing that's kind of exciting about batteries in this case is the bags that I use. They're fun, they're bright colored. All of the charged batteries go in this one. I have both the Fuji camera batteries as well as the batteries for the action camera that we'll get to in a second. All the charged, fully ready to go batteries are in here, and when they are empty and need to be charged, they go in here. So that's the main camera gear that I'm going to be taking on this trip. I like the small light primes because they're easy to carry around, and then again, that long telephoto lens, while it's big and heavy, is going to be very useful for one specific use case. So next up is that action camera kit. Now I use the Osmo Action. This is the first one. This is obviously not the second one that looks completely different from this. This is a couple years old at this point, but I love it. I love the quality that I get out of this. I'm going to be able to use this out on the water. We're going to hopefully go snorkeling, do a couple of other things. We also use this as a vlogging camera where, you know, being on this Manfrotto Pixie tripod, and we can take the little audio converter for 3.5 millimeters to USB-C, pop that in the side. You can then use the deity microphone on this as well, pop that up here in the cold shoe, and this is a good lightweight on-the-go vlogging kit. I'm going to take this little bag and put some of these accessories in here. So this is the little audio converter. I also have this little guy. This allows me to put the Osmo Action on top of the Fuji into the cold shoe slot, so that you can get the same point of view as the photos that I'm taking. I then use this gator clamp a lot of times when we are out on hikes. I will go ahead and strap this maybe to the front of this backpack on one of the straps or something like that, put the Osmo Action there, and be able to get a photo, or a video really, of me hiking around and kind of, again, the viewpoint there. There's also a couple times that I've used this out kayaking, or if I'm wearing a hat, I'll pop this up on the brim of the hat and be able to, again, get that point of view shot that I really enjoy. And because we are going to be on water and snorkeling, I bring a floaty handle. This is just in case I do lose it and drop it, it will still float. I'll see the bright yellow, it'll be ready to go. Now the last accessory that I'm going to take for the Osmo is this suction cup mount. You know, we're going to be doing the road to Hana and Maui, and being able to suction cup this to the windshield and get a view of the road and just the views is going to be amazing. So don't want to lose out on that. Now obviously some other accessories, things like your SD cards. I have a bunch of SD cards here in this little mini case, so that will go right up front. I also want to carry a couple of extra battery banks to charge phones and other items while we're out on the go. And then moving to some tech items, the main one is my iPad Pro. Now this is the 12.9 inch version from 2018. I believe it's the 3rd generation. It also has the Smart Folio keyboard case on it. The keyboard stopped working a while ago because I really wore it out. So not a fault of the product at all. I really put it through the ringer. But this is the main device that I use for all of my photo editing. I can obviously do some basic things like email and social media and just other internet-based things while we are on the go. It'd also be great for watching Netflix on the plane. And so that is the main device that will slide right into what's traditionally a laptop sleeve. But that means there's a couple other accessories that I need for the iPad. First and foremost is the Apple Pencil. Editing photos with this is absolutely a game changer when it comes to just photo editing. Then I also use this Anchor hub. This allows me to connect my memory cards, my SD cards in here and transfer data. It has a USB-C power pass through and then a USB-A connector, so I can connect things like an external hub and a headphone jack as well. It does have HDMI. I won't be using that on this trip, but it does come in handy in other scenarios. But because the USB-C is not a data pass-through, it's only power pass-through, I have to use the USB-A hub for my external hard drive, and that means I need this little adapter so that I can pop that in there and then the USB-C cable in for the external. So both of those are coming with. Also, I'm bringing a couple of audio connectors, both a USB-C one for the iPad and the Lightning connector for the iPhone. And then my wife and I will enjoy watching Netflix on the iPad together on the plane, using one of those, then a audio splitter for our headphones. I don't know, you're thinking like, all these cables for just some audio stuff? Yes, we don't have wireless headphones. It's not how we set things up, and it's okay. It's what I like. And then in terms of that external SSD, I usually say hard drive just because that's my habit, but it is an SSD. It's a little SanDisk here. This is an extreme portable SSD. It's 500 gigs. I love it, and I use it all the time. Then it's a little mini USB-C cable. While I'm going through this, I don't think I've said this yet, everything will be linked down in the description below. I have a link to my website that has just a whole gear page where you can see everything that I have. So it'll include everything here as well as a few others that are not coming on this trip. So now that can get closed up. That'll go in there, as well as this other one. These will both go in the top. And then just a couple of miscellaneous items that I'll be bringing. I bring this pack. This is a little bit of a medical kit. You know, you might need some ibuprofen, you might need some Tums, you might need a Band-Aid. I'm gonna have that for you here. That all lives in this pocket up top. And then while you're traveling, one thing you can do to try and reduce a little bit of your impact on the planet is we carry bamboo utensils. So this has a fork, a spoon, a knife, a glass straw, and chopsticks. So wherever we go, we can, again, just try and reduce the little bit that we can. Obviously getting on airplanes, which are like the worst thing to do for the planet, but you know, make up for it with some plastic utensil replacement. And because of the times that we live in, I'm now going to be bringing my vaccine card, so that can slide in here and be ready to go in case anybody needs it during my travels. Now again, there are probably some miscellaneous cables and things that I need to pack in here, chargers, all of that, but you know that. Whatever accessories you need, you're gonna bring for yourself, and that is going to do it. So make sure and hit subscribe because I am going to be sharing some videos from this trip. I mean, photography in Hawaii is gonna be great. So I am, of course, gonna be sharing as much of that as I can here on the channel. But until next time, I'm obviously gonna go make something. I hope you do too.